My spouse is in love with someone else. Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about the topic of my spouse is in love with someone else. To begin with, I wanted to let you know that I empathize with you. I am sorry that you are going through this situation. It is not an easy situation. And I know the emotional burden can sometimes seem too heavy to carry. You may be in a mindset where you feel like there is no hope, or how are you ever going to be able to deal with the situation? But I'm here to tell you that there is hope. There is a way to be able to move past this, but it will require your commitment. It will require you to be able to accept and be able to move on from the situation. Not necessarily the relationship or the marriage, but the actual situation itself. But this also has to be a situation in which both parties are willing to work through this process. As I said before, I know it is extremely difficult, and I know that when you are in a heightened emotional situation, it can seem like there is no right answer, but that is what I am here for. I'm here to guide you through that process. So, the first thing that I want to discuss with you guys is the first two things that you should do in order to start the process. The first thing that you should do is disengage. Disengage from the situation. If you are just finding out, or if you already found out and you have been attacking your spouse, if you have been relentless, wanting to know answers, wanting to check their phone, wanting to know what they're doing, and trying to control the situation, I suggest that you disengage. Disengaging will allow for space. It will allow time to breathe, and it will give you a moment to be able to recollect yourself and to be able to recollect your thoughts. Because if you continue to engage, if you continue to attack your partner, all you will do is push your partner further away. The next thing that you should do after you disengage is to reflect, to self-reflect. You cannot self reflect until you actually disengage from the situation. You cannot process what is actually happening unless you pull yourself out of it. If you are unable to do that, you will not be able to really understand what is at the root of the problem. The entire purpose of you going through this reflection process is for you to understand yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, but more importantly, for you to be able to break down in your mind why this potentially could have happened and how you can move on from this situation, how you can move past this situation. So, after disengaging and after reflecting, I wanted to give you guys some do's and don'ts. Number one, don't interrogate or manipulate. The last thing that you want to do in this situation is just constantly berate your partner, asking them a multitude of questions, wanting to know their whereabouts, wanting to know every detail of the situation. Now, that is completely understandable, and I understand why you would want to know the details. I get that. But at this moment in time, you do not want to push your spouse further away. If you try to manipulate certain situations, if you are constantly on top of them, what you are actually doing is suffocating your partner and pushing them further away. If your partner has had an affair, there is something that happened in the relationship. There is something that went wrong that led your partner astray. So the last thing that you want to do is to add to those reasons. So do not interrogate and do not manipulate. Number two, do not overshare. And what I mean by this is usually in these types of situations and circumstances, you want people to side with you. You want to feel as if your feelings are valid. And that is completely natural and normal. So you will go to your friends and family and you will divulge information that you might not have wanted to divulge or might not have divulged if you were thinking rationally or if you were not in a heightened state of emotion. What will happen is that your friends and family will side with you. And if you do not want the relationship to end, this will actually create more pressure for you because your friends and family will try to convince you to end the relationship. That that person is not good enough for you, that that person made a horrible mistake and that they do not deserve you. So what will actually end up happening is that you will start to dealing with not only the situation that you are currently in, but also your family and friends and trying to appease them as well. The third don't is do not punish your spouse. And as much as you may want to punish them, which I completely understand because you were hurt, they hurt you, and it almost feels as if they punished you. The last thing that you want to do is retaliate. Retaliation is not the strategy here. By punishing your partner, especially at this time, again, you are only pushing them further away. And if your goal is to stay in this marriage, to stay in this relationship, even through the affair, you have to make sure to not push your partner away. So now the do's. The first do is do you. Be independent. Reinvest time with yourself. And now I know this may seem counterintuitive, and I know this may seem like something that you just do not have the emotional capacity to do right now because you feel as if you have to be around your partner 24/7 to ensure that they are not doing something they should not be doing. But in the reality of the situation, you have to pull yourself away from that. You have to reinvest in yourself, make yourself happy. That way, in the long run, you can make your spouse happy, your partner happy. If you do not love yourself, you cannot love someone else. I've said this many, many, many times before. And again, as difficult as this may feel and sound, I suggest that you step away, you pull away, and you do you. Reinvest in yourself. Number 2, lean on your village. Lean on your friends and family. Join a sports group, join a committee, something that you can do where you feel like you are part of a community, because that support will help you to navigate that negative headspace that you are in. These people are here to uplift you and to make you feel like you are going to be okay. But as I said before, and this is a major caution, do not overshare. If you overshare and you give them too much information, it can actually be a detriment. It can actually turn out to be a negative situation as opposed to a positive one. Number 3, change your perception. You have to change your perception about the relationship, about the situation, about the circumstance. Now, that is not saying that you have to diminish your experience, because your experience is valid. What you are feeling is valid. But if you do not change your perception and you continue to look at your partner as a bad person, you will inevitably hate your partner. And what will end up happening is that your relationship will end anyways. You have to ask yourself the question, is my partner a good person who made a bad mistake? Or is he a bad person who made a bad mistake? If your partner is a good person who made a bad mistake, then forgive them. We are all human. We all make mistakes. And that is where you have to change your perception on the situation. Now, as I said, if he is a bad person who made a bad mistake, it may not necessarily be a bad thing that you are in the situation that you are in. And to be honest with you, I would probably exit the relationship if that individual is not a good person and they are not healthy for you. Toxicity is something that we always look for in a relationship. And if you are in a toxic relationship, then it is not worth it. But for the purposes of this video, we are going to assume that your partner is a good person who made a bad mistake. As I said in the beginning of this video, I completely understand how difficult this situation can be, and I empathize with you. There are things that happen in a relationship that lead to these relationships starting to erode and fall apart. And if your spouse is in love with somebody else, there are probably things that happened within the relationship that caused your partner to start to go look elsewhere. Some of these things are things that we don't even realize are happening. Things become routine, things become mundane, and we just kind of get stuck into that pattern. If you would like to know how to break the routine of a relationship, please make sure you click on the private video below. I've created a training to help you guys to understand what a routine is, how you get into it, and how to break that routine. If you related to the content in this video, and if you feel like you got something out of it, please make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button. If you can relate to this, if you have any questions, please make sure you comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys and love to hear your own personal experiences and any questions that you may have. If you feel like you want to know a little bit more, maybe get a little bit more clarification on the video, please visit us at happilycommitted.com, where we have a multitude of different articles and blogs that talk about this topic in particular and several other topics as well. You can also book a one-on-one coaching session with either myself or one of the amazing coaches that we have here on the team. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach, and I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy. See you guys soon.